push back to 6:40 Iowa time. They'll be in fine shape, as they used to say. But it's all in great fun as college football and the Big Ten season is finally here. Here it comes. Big Ten football from here on out. And I might have said this in a previous visit or on-air editorial when the league expanded to 11 and then 12, and now it's 14 teams. 2023 will mark the end of an era with Southern Cal and UCLA coming in, and then on their heels, here comes Oregon and Washington. So the Big Ten will be up to 18 schools, if I'm keeping up with the math, all annexed into America's senior society, the longest-running conference in all of college sports, and that is the Big Ten. So we might be losing some of the familiar crossover games. I don't know about additional border battles to go away, but this is going to be kind of a sunset year for the Big Ten with further expansion coming. The East and West divisions, as you now know it, will no longer be there. It'll be 18 teams, or 14, 16, whatever the number is next year, going for a couple of top spots because the college football playoff system is also expanding to 12. So lots to be decided, but that's then. This is now. The Hawkeyes head out to Happy Valley on Friday for a Saturday night game, and we'll be there to call all the action for you. Starting at 4:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network, 4:30 Iowa time. 2-hour pregame show as we get you ready for the Hawkeyes and the Penn State Nittany Lions. A pair of 3-0 teams. This series is about as close as it can possibly be called. They've played, 22 times since Penn State joined the Big Ten, and each team has won 11. Kirk Ferentz is 10-8. Against the blue and white of Penn State. Hayden Fry had nice success against the Nittany Lions when Joe Pa was there running the show. James Franklin has done a great job there in the last few years. Penn State is ranked in the top 10. The Hawkeyes are ranked 24th this week, so it's a rare top 25 matchup for this early in the season. One of the marquee games, really, on this Saturday, the opening of Big Ten football. Next week, the Hawks are home for the Michigan State Spartans, and then on we go throughout the next, 9 games to determine a West Division and East Division champion. And the Hawkeyes, if they can stay healthy, they'll be right there at the end. And I bring that up because, as you all know by now, it was a rough weekend physically for the Hawks over at Kinnick Stadium. We'll get into that later, but suffice it to say that Luke Lachey, our star tight end, all Big Ten tight end, had a surgery after the Western Michigan game, a lower leg injury, serious enough that it's probably going to cost him the rest of the season. We'll just have to see how fast Luke can heal. Iowa will be without 2 of its top 3 running backs. Caleb Johnson will miss for a second consecutive week. And Jazz Patterson, who really emerged, really exploded onto the scene at Iowa State with that great game he had. 10 carries, 88 yards, whatever it was. He will not play, and therefore the Hawks are down to LaShawn Johnson. Now look what LaShawn did over the weekend against the Broncos. He ran for, caught a screen pass for 25 yards and a touchdown, and then ran for 145. So he accounted for 170 yards of Iowa's 380 total offense. What a breakout game for LaShawn Williams. So hopefully he can keep that up. He's obviously going to have to carry the ball a few extra carries on Saturday night. But the 2 freshmen, how much do you play the 2 freshmen in that atmosphere on the road at Penn State? Well, Kirk Ferentz is not afraid to roll the dice, but hopefully Kamari Moulton and Terrell Washington Jr. can get their licks in. So there's great depth at the running back position, but as Kirk said earlier this year, you can never have enough depth at a position where the individual's getting the ball a lot, because he's going to get hit. And that's why the Hawks have lost 2 of their better running backs. But we'll see how it all plays out. Coach will be here as usual right at the top of the hour, around 7 o'clock or a little bit after that. We've got a full plate here on the menu at View Rooftop. in downtown Iowa City. Coach will have his club car wash keys to the game. And of course, Authentic Brand is a principal player in this play. Authentic Brand, if you will submit a question, please, on Twitter or Facebook, and we pick your question as the interesting cue of the week via Twitter or Facebook for Coach Ferentz, you could win an Authentic Brand Hawkeye merch pack, a box full of merchandise. And it's very simple to do. So if you haven't sent your question in for this week, please do on Twitter at Gary Dolphin or on Facebook at Voice of the Hawkeyes, voiceofthehawks.com/Learfield.com. I'll get you that exact. No, here it is, Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. How would you get that on your calling card? I mean, that thing is a block long. Facebook.com/Voice of the Hawks. Okay. We welcome KCRG 9.2 here again tonight. Aaron Rooney in the driver's seat with Channel 9.2. They are gracious enough to televise our show live each and every week. You can watch us on the official Iowa Hawkeyes YouTube page as well. Hawkeye football, and in particular tonight's Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz, is sponsored by Bud Light, proud sponsor of Iowa Hawkeye Athletics. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy, Bud Light. And the Heroes game is coming up at the end of the season that you all are aware of when Iowa takes on the Nebraska Cornhuskers. It'll be in Lincoln this year. We welcome sponsor Pioneer. Pioneer Seed and Pioneer all things agronomics. There's a hero in all of us, and Pioneer is a proud partner with Iowa and Nebraska for the Pioneer Heroes game coming up over Thanksgiving. Together we want to recognize and celebrate local heroes. You know of some who exemplify the goal of positively impacting the community and who stand as an inspiration to others. So if you have a family member or a community member you'd like to recognize and nominate, please submit your local hero nomination at HawkeyeSports.com/hero. Very simple, HawkeyeSports.com/hero, and we can celebrate the heroes in our community, particularly come Iowa-Nebraska game day. Thank you, Pioneer, for hosting our Heroes game. We're going to take our first break. Iowa-Penn State coming up on Saturday. We'll review the Iowa-Western Michigan game as well. But when we come back, we want to celebrate the #1 ranked Iowa field hockey team led by Coach Lisa Salucci, #1 in the country for a third straight week. Lisa joins us next at View Rooftop on Hawk Talk from Learfield.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today?
The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness.
Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Hey Hawkeyes, this is Coach Kirk Ferentz. We work hard all year long to have the best season possible, just like Iowa's corn farmers do. At the University of Iowa, we celebrate our student athletes as well as our state's corn farmers. For all of us, it's the same. When you put in the hard work and give it your all, great things happen. Want to support Iowa's corn farmers? It's easy. Buy corn-fed meat, dairy, and eggs. Fill your cup with safe drinking water right from the tap and fuel your vehicle with homegrown unleaded 88. Let's go Hawks.
Does your company attire make you feel like you're always fourth and long? It's time for a change. Hand the ball off to Authentic Brand and watch your team transform into MVPs. On game days, our team dresses like champions in Authentic Brand. Ensure that your company's reputation remains untarnished by using nothing but the label specifically designed to display your company's identity. Ask your supplier for Authentic Brand products and see for yourself why it's more than just a label. It's a statement.
Kids eat free in September at Wahlburgers at Hy-Vee to celebrate National Family Meals Month. That's right, get a free kids meal with the purchase of an adult entree. Kids 12 and under can choose from favorites like a burger and fries, grilled cheese, chicken tenders, and more. Bring the family together. Dine in at Wahlburgers at Hy-Vee and get a free kids meal with the purchase of an adult entree every day in September.
Dine in only. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk from View Rooftop. Good evening, everybody, both here in the View and the Hilton Garden Inn and around the Midwest and around the country, certainly around the Big Ten footprint, where the Hawkeyes face Penn State on Saturday night. The game to start a little bit after 6:30. Ed Podolak and I will greet you at 4:30 on the Hawkeye Radio Network, along with Michelle Altmaier and Rob Brooks. Our entire cast will be out there getting ready for the Hawks and Penn State top 25 matchup of two 3-0 teams. Speaking of undefeated and highly ranked, let's welcome in Coach Lisa Salucci from the number one ranked field hockey team for a third straight week. Now, it's amazing. When it comes, I don't care what sport you're talking about, but consistency, staying power, that's Iowa field hockey. Iowa now has been ranked in 75 consecutive polls dating back to the 2016 season. The Hawkeyes, though, ranked number one. And, Coach, I know you wouldn't trade that for anything. Great exposure. Congratulations. But you've earned it.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we've had a great start to the season. To be honest, slightly unexpected just with how the youth that we have on the team. But we got off to a great start at the ACC Big Ten Challenge, and we haven't looked back.
You knocked off number one North Carolina in that first week or two of competition at the Big Ten ACC Challenge. And I was thinking about this on the drive down today. We sat here a year ago and talked about a fairly veteran team that you had. Now you got all these newbies, and we'll talk about, is it Dion or Diane? Dion. Yep. Okay, I was wrong on both counts. That's good. That's why I'm asking.
That's okay.
Dion Van Alsum, who is the talk of the country, not just the Big Ten, but where'd the chemistry come from? I know you got a couple great veterans.
We do. Yeah, we have 7 veterans that are consistently in the starting lineup, but just a whole slew of veterans that are helping on board our 8 freshmen, and the freshmen just have come in with great confidence, talent, and have really meshed well. And that's kind of been our secret right now, is the chemistry that we have going on the field.
It is amazing. Iowa leads the nation in winning percentage, obviously. 6 shutouts per game. Scoring margin of 4.5 goals. Scoring average nearly 5 goals a game. It's incredible, and it goes on and on. Goals against average. So you're getting it done in the net and in the offensive end.
Yeah, typically we are definitely usually defensive stalwarts. That's been a hallmark of Iowa field hockey for a long time. What's different for us this year is we're scoring goals at a really great clip, and a lot of that is due to Dion Van Alsum. She has been fantastic.
She sure has, and then some. And Dion Van Alsum, freshman, has been named the National Field Hockey Coaches Association Offensive Player of the Week after recording 5 goals and 4 assists in a pair of wins last weekend. I'm chuckling because there are a lot of good players don't get 5 goals in a season.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And she got 5 in 1 week. It's the second week in a row for the native of the Netherlands that she's been awarded the honor, and the third time for the Hawkeyes this season. Redshirt sophomore Mia Magnata, your goalie, was named Defensive Player of the Week back in late August. Dion Van Alsum leads the nation. Now listen to this: 21 goals, 46 points, 2.5 goals, a little above that per game. and almost 6 points per game. So she's assisting as well as she's scoring.
Yeah, I mean, just this weekend was a great example. She had numerous opportunities to score herself, and she set her teammates up, which is, the great making of a great player and great teammate. And she is on pace to rewrite record books in Iowa field hockey history. And knowing the dominance and the players we've had go through here, that's saying something. But we just hope she can continue this clip, that's for sure.
Well, and it's easy, and I know what it is. It's great coaching.
I would love to be able to say that. I don't think I have much to do with it.
Great recruiting.
Great recruiting. There you go.
You're a great clinician as a coach anyway, but all right, how did you find her? It's got to be a great story.
Yeah, so my associate head coach is from England, and he has some great contacts over in Holland and England and in Belgium, and he got a tip from one of his friends, and he went over and saw her play, and then, a whole slew of schools were interested, and we were actually the only ones who offered her an on-campus visit, believe it or not. And so she came out, and we showed her what Iowa City has to offer and these great fans and all the great resources, and she was sold. And so all of those other coaches have called me since and said, we can't believe we didn't bring her out.
For at least a visit.
Exactly.
Right? I look at the roster and I see familiar names, Esme Gibson and Sophie Stribos.
Yep.
Where is one of my favorites from Waverly? Where is she at here? Or she didn't graduate, did she? I'm looking for. Is it Kenzie Rolling?
She's on the soccer team.
Oh, no
So
wonder I
you
can't
go.
find her.
There you go.
Soccer's having a good year too.
They're having a great year.
They're having a great season.
Wishing them good luck tomorrow. They have a big match.
How about Mia Magnata, your redshirt sophomore? Pennsylvania youngster. She's really emerged because she had to wait her turn, didn't she?
She did, yeah. She was one of the best goalkeepers in the country last year, but she was sitting behind an All-American, Grace McGuire, and then unfortunately Grace got hurt right in the Big Ten tournament, and Mia had to step in for the biggest 3 games of her life, the Big Ten quarterfinals and then the NCAA Sweet 16 and the Elite 8, and she was unbelievable. So she stepped up to the challenge, and she's been fantastic this year.
You mentioned 8 freshmen, and there are a lot of other talented kids other than Dion Van. Also mention some of those youngsters.
Yeah, Miranda Jackson from the UK. She's been scoring some goals for us, setting up Dion really well. Gia Wellen from Pennsylvania. She's our defensive center mid. So we have our attacking center mid, our defensive center mid, our freshman, our left mid, Leva Van Kessel, who's playing. They're all doing a fantastic job. I've been so impressed just with their poise, their hockey IQ, and their ability just to rise on the stage every day.
I've been around long enough to remember when the recruiting hotbed was New England, East Coast, Pennsylvania, and it still is.
Yep.
But now it's become an international game, hasn't it? It's amazing.
It really has, and a lot of people don't know, but field hockey is one of the most popular sports in the world. You go over to the Netherlands and you watch a field hockey match, like a World Cup game, and there's 40, 50,000 people in the stand. So, it's played in all over Europe, and so these women, if they can combine their education and athletics over here, they get a great opportunity in the States.
Now, for people that might be learning about field hockey for the first time, is it set up like hockey? Is there an offsides? Is there a blue line? I know there's not a blue line on the field, but a similar offside line.
There used to be. The offsides went away actually when I was playing in 1995, so there are no longer offsides, just to help the scoring increase. Set up a lot more like soccer positionally, so forwards, midfielders, defenders, goalkeepers, 11 on a side. We play on watered AstroTurf, so it is fast, a little bit different. And a really fast game of 60 minutes.
And physical. Very physical.
Yep.
So there you have it. It's like football and hockey, ice hockey combined. Rolled into one. Yeah. So Big Ten, we're talking about Big Ten footballs here for the rest of the year. So is Big Ten field hockey. You're on the road Friday night against a very quality opponent.
Yep.
Ranked team in Michigan.
Yep.
What? Give us the breakdown, the scouting report.
Yeah, Michigan, they've been one of the best teams in the country the last couple of years. Right now they're ranked, in the top 14, but they're a fantastic squad, and they're having one of their best players they get back just in time to play us. So they're led by a former Hawkeye great, Marcia Pankratz. So it's always a heightened game when we get to play them. We haven't won at Michigan since 2019 when we won the Big Ten championship there. So this is going to be a big one. But the Big Ten field hockey right now, we have 5 teams in the top 12. So it's going to be a battle every week.
And seemingly every year you can say that about the Big Ten, can't Gotcha.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, Coach. After the win over Michigan on Friday, you return home next week for a couple big home meets. Let's get a plug in. You've been drawing great crowds.
Yeah, we have. We've had great crowds at Grant Field, so if anybody wants to come watch some free field hockey, we'd love to have you out there over by Finkbein Golf Course. We play Michigan State we play Ohio State on Friday at 3 o'clock, and then Michigan State on Sunday at 12. So going to be two great matches. Ohio State's a top 12 team as well, and our women would love the support.
Great way to end September and start October. The 29th, Ohio State in town, 3 p.m., followed by Michigan State at noon on Sunday, October 1st. Lisa, keep it up.
Thank you so much.
Great job to you and your staff, and obviously to the players. It's just you're catching the attention of the entire country.
Well, so we appreciate that. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Keep it going. We'll do it again.
Go Hawks.
Take care. Coach Lisa Salucci, Iowa field hockey, ranked number 1 for a third straight week. And we're back with more Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz in just a minute here on the Hawkeye Radio Network from Learfield.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
If you've got the right tools and the friendly people at U.S. Bank in your corner, making smarter money choices is a piece of cake. If only our tools and helpful advisors could have helped you avoid some of those not-so-smart choices in life. Like that time you tried to pick up unicycling.
Whoa, coming through!
Or when you thought it'd be okay to pet that squirrel in the park.
Good squirrel, good squirrel.
While we can't help you with all that, we can help you bank smartly at usbank.com/smarter together. Member FDIC.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup for the 2023-24 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite school or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. That's thedirectorscup.com and L Directors Cup on Twitter. Trophies will be awarded in June 2024 to the winning institutions in all competitive divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Hello, Hawkeye fans. This is Bruce Gerlman, and I own Jethro's Barbecue. Have you heard the news? It's really big news. Jethro's Barbecue is now open in Coralville. That's right, across from the Hawkeye softball diamonds on the Coralville Strip. Jethro's is your game day headquarters. Call ahead and order your tailgate barbecue from Jethro's. Before the game, during the game, after the game, stop in Jethro's and eat my amazing slow-smoked wings and my world-famous baby back ribs.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbein Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Welcome back to View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Iowa City. Thank you so much for joining us tonight along the Hawkeye Radio Network. Better yet, come on out, join us here at View Rooftop. We're sponsored by Quickstar. Hawk fans, you can drive your team to a win this season by filling up with unleaded 88 with quick rewards at any Quickstar location. Fuel up with 8 gallons or more of unleaded 88, and you'll be automatically entered for a chance to win great prize packs throughout the season. Quickstar, proud partner of Hawkeye football. Thanks again to Coach Lisa Salucci, and all the great chatter about the Hawkeyes ranked number 1 in field hockey again this week. For 3 straight weeks, they knocked off North Carolina to start the season at the Big Ten ACC Challenge, and they've planed upward from there, and they show no signs of letting up now with that young freshman, Dion Van Ulsum, who leads the nation in just about every offensive statistical category, and she's something special. She's worth the price of admission, but hey, it's free. So head on out. Just put it on your calendar. Take in the Friday night or Sunday afternoon matches next weekend. Not this weekend, next weekend. Good luck to the Hawks as they head to Michigan for a Friday night matchup to open Big Ten field hockey play. As for football, it's the Hawkeyes and Penn State on Saturday night at 6:40. The Hawks, if you haven't heard, will be playing Michigan State as well next week in the evening. That's a 6:30 kick, I believe, also at Kinnick Stadium. So the lights will be on, and we'll have a great time. Back-to-back night games for Iowa football. Both teams are 3-0 this weekend, and let's talk a little bit about Penn State. They've got the number 1 ranked quarterback coming out of high school from a couple years ago, Drew Allar. Young man out of Ohio, 6'5", 240-pound sophomore. He bided his time behind Sean Clifford a year ago. Got into quite a few games and saw some action. And this season he is the man and will be for as long as he hangs around. He's thrown 88 times, completed 59. That's 67% completion ratio for 737 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, Illinois, I was watching the replay of that game. Illinois disguised their defenses to try and fool Drew. He was a little shaky at times, but didn't turn the ball over. Meanwhile, Illinois was intercepted 4 times, Illinois quarterbacks, and fumbled it away once. So Penn State certainly took advantage, got momentum in the second half, and won the game going away 30-13. It's a good game, though, for the better part of 2.5 quarters. They have a pair of outstanding running backs in Katron Allen and Nicholas Singleton. Katron Allen is their primary back. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. He's rushed for a little over 200 yards. Singleton is a sophomore, 6 foot, out of Shillington, Pennsylvania. Katron Allen is from Norfolk, Virginia. Penn State has lived historically off great high school players from the state of Virginia. I remember a story, Joe Paterno. This is honest to God's truth. I'm at the Big Ten kickoff meetings in July. This is probably 22 years ago, and I'm going down to do some interviews, and the elevator door pops open, and Joe Pa gets on. And it's just me and Joe riding about 15 floors down, and he looks and sees my Hawkeye logo shirt on. He goes, "Oh, Iowa, huh?" I said, "Yeah, Coach." I said, "I've always admired your teams and the way you coach, and I do the radio for Iowa." "Oh," he said, "let me tell you something. I vote for Hayden Fry as Big Ten Coach of the Year every year." And, I thought he might be pandering a little bit to us. And I said, "Really?" I said, "Well, I appreciate it. How do you answer that question?" He goes, "Let me tell you something, son." He said, "I looked it up on the map, and from Davenport, or the Quad Cities, to Council Bluffs is 300 miles. And then I looked at the population of Iowa, and it's 3 million. It might have been like 2.7 at that time." He goes, "Do you know within 100 miles of State College we have 80 million people?" And that thing, that just knocked me sideways. And we wonder why Penn State wins. 80 million people if you draw a 100-mile circle around State College, and I've never done that, but I got thinking Cleveland, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington. I'm not sure how far New York City is from State College. Detroit, you got the entire Columbus, Youngstown, all those major. Not only are they big cities, but they're football fanatical. And so Penn State has had a great history. Now you still got to recruit kids to come up to the mountains and play, but that's what the Big Ten has really been a boon, a boost for Penn State. But Joe Paterno was spot on. He said, "That's why I vote for Coach Fry every year as Big Ten Coach of the Year, for what he's done with a school with a small recruiting base, at least within the Iowa boundaries." And obviously Hayden knew where to find players, as does Kirk Ferentz. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification. 10-second ID break here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. You're listening to Hawk Talk from View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn with Coach Ferentz from Learfield. Welcome back. 55 stations strong in the Hawkeye Radio Network, as well as XM Satellite Radio, and, of course, on KCRG 9.2, as we are each and every Wednesday night. The Hawkeyes and Penn State at 6:40 Saturday night. Pregame coverage starts at 4:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network. I was talking about Penn State's offense. Their wide receivers have had a nice start to the year. They haven't wowed opponents, but, of course, they've been able to run the ball. And Aller has done a great job of finding tight ends. A couple of the names you'll want to look for. Harrison Wallace III has got 10 catches on the young season. Liam Clifford, redshirt sophomore from Maineville, Ohio, has 5 grabs. They do spread the ball around. 4 catches for Dante Cephas. He's been there for a couple of years, redshirt senior. Their tight ends, they always have great tight ends. Not as many as the Hawkeyes, but they have great tight ends at Penn State. Tyler Warren from Mechanicsville, Virginia, he's got 10 grabs. Theo Johnson backs him up. But they'll spread the ball around to 7, 8, 9 receivers. That's the thing about Penn State. They're very deep on both sides of the line of scrimmage, especially on defense. They'll rotate 8, 9, 10 guys on the defensive front. The best of the bunch, or certainly close to the best of the bunch, is Kalen King. He's a cornerback. Their secondary is outstanding. He's got 8 total tackles, hard-hitting safeties as they always do. Jaquan Brisker was the latest. He's now in the NFL. But they have Kevin Winston, Jalen Reed, Johnny Dixon. That back end is really talented. And, of course, Kobe King leads the group of linebackers along with Daquan Hardy. These are names you've heard before, Abdul Carter. And then up front, they've got 2 guys that will, I know, be high draft choices in the NFL come next spring. But they play 8 or 9, much like Iowa does, to keep fresh bodies out there on the field. So this is going to be a collision. These 2 defenses are top 10 ranked in most statistical categories. Penn State is giving up around 7 points a game, just under 7 points a game. Hawkeyes are giving up around 12 points a game. And so, flip a coin as to and they're two very different defenses. The Nittany Lions will get after you. They'll blitz. No doubt they're going to blitz a lot on Cade McNamara. The Hawkeyes and Phil Parker, they don't want to get beat over the top. They're going to play that base strong 4-3 with the cashback. And so while you have diametrically opposed defenses, they have the end result. They get there. They find the same end, which is shut down opposing offenses and get a victory and get out of town. So those are some of the facts and figures. To me, as I look at this game, and we still have a lot to learn between now and Saturday night. This game to me comes down just like last week's did, or the Iowa State game, special teams. And turnovers. And in Torrey Taylor, of course, the Hawks have, if not the best punter in the conference or the country for that matter, in terms of placement as well as distance, certainly one of the top 5. Penn State's kicking game is fine, but I don't think it's the equal of Iowa's. Drew Stevens has had a great start to the beginning of his season. So to me, I think, and it's come down, I remember the infamous 6-4 game a few years ago. Coach Ferentz has just roamed into the room and sat down. That a win's a win, baby, and it was 6-4, and that baseball score looks great in the history book.
That'd be a contrast to 1983, 42-38, I think. So,
yes,
that is football. You just never know. It could end up in a track meet, or it could end up in a pitcher's duel. And I don't know if it was a pitcher's duel, 6 runs. That wouldn't qualify, but you get the point. Baseball score. High scoring affair.
That might be a good ERA today, the way they hit him out of the park.
It's funny you should bring that up, because I actually read this morning about a guy throwing a no-hitter. Had to come out after 7 innings, and the sports are passing me by. I'll admit it.
Pitchers don't go the distance like they
used
to.
Yeah, apparently.
That? I mean, Nolan Ryan. You think Nolan Ryan had come out after 7 innings if he's tossing no-hitter?
I would not want to be the one to deliver the message.
No, not the pitching coach anyway. Well, welcome to your show, Coach. How the first couple days in practice gone this week?
Good. Yeah, we've by Wednesday we're pretty well. Most of our physical stuff's all done, so it's been a busy week, but a good week, and as I'm sure you've already touched on, this is a really good football team we're playing. It's hard to find any weaknesses really in any of the three phases. So, but that's what you expect when you play Penn State. It's kind of the same story every time. But they're very impressive. Like always, they're very talented. And I think probably the main takeaway at this early juncture is that where they did lose really good players, and they always lose good players because they have good players. They lose guys to the draft, whether it's Joey Porter or the quarterback was a really good player and a very veteran player. It seems like the guys that have stepped in they haven't missed a beat. So that's really a credit to their recruiting, their development. They've just another strong Penn State team.
It's a team that's won 8 straight games, 10 of its last 11. Its only loss was to Michigan, They got blown out in that game, but Ohio State, they were right there at the end of the third quarter. Ohio State ultimately won the game in a close, high-scoring affair. So this is a team that not only is playing well at the start of this year, but they've been playing well. Coach Franklin's had them playing at a high level here for the last roughly dozen games.
Yeah, they really have. They had a great year last year, Rose Bowl champs, against a team that we have a lot of respect for, Utah, the way they play football. And they really were in control of that game start to finish. So that says a little bit about how they were playing at the end of last year, and they're off to a really strong start right now. Winning at home, first ball game against West Virginia. Delaware really couldn't match up with them, and then did a great job last week. Their defense really played well, came up with 5 turnovers, and I think their offense just kind of played to the circumstances.
Sure.
They're really a good-looking football team.
Well, Coach, we'll come back and dive into Penn State's starters and backups in depth a little bit more here. We'll take a break, let Coach get settled in, and then we'll come back with the Club Car Wash keys to the game. This is Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate farmers during the A&F game on October 21st. For more information and to win tickets to the game, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
How do you become America's best-selling brand? Let's break it down. Innovative tech means smarter and safer driving. Intelligent all-wheel drive will keep you ready for anything. And built Ford Tough Trucks will always get the job done. Plus, come into your local Ford store today and get super low APR financing, big cash back, and great lease offers on Ford's full line of cars, trucks, and SUVs. That's Ford, and that's how you become America's best-selling brand. Sales claim based on calendar year sales.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bose, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
You might think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is, corn grows Iowa. While farmers work hard to grow the best crop, their Iowa corn checkoff investments are hard at work too. Opening local and global markets for corn and corn-fed products, educating drivers on unleaded 88 as the best fuel at the pump, finding new uses for corn, and sharing the farmer's story. Iowa corn farmers are backed by researchers, educators, market experts, and more. To keep corn, growing Iowa.
Welcome back to Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz. We're at View Rooftop atop the Hilton Garden Inn, downtown Iowa City. Another great crowd here tonight. Some of the parents of some of the players are here enjoying the evening, and thank you for stopping by. They've got a beautiful outdoor patio. You can sit out there and listen to the show and watch the sunset, and a beautiful night it is around Johnson County. We'll get to your Twitter and Facebook posts here shortly, but right now we want to delve into Penn State, give you a little bit better scouting report with Kirk Ferentz Club Car Wash Keys to the Game, presented by the official car wash of the Hawkeyes, Club Car Wash. With unlimited membership starting at just $20 a month, there's no better time to join the club. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location nearest you. Kirk, I was talking a little bit about Drew Allar and their outstanding 1-2 punch at running back before you arrived. Allar was highly recruited coming out of high school in Medina, Ohio, a couple years back. He patiently waited behind Sean Clifford. Got a lot of seasoning last year, but it's his car to drive now for a couple years.
He really did. Where he played high school football. I'll give you a little trivia. That's where Nick Saban lived when he was with the Cleveland Browns, and I probably lived about 15 miles away from that town as well. So it's south of Cleveland, down 71. And he really kind of broke on the scene a year ago. They opened up the season at Purdue. I think it was the first Big Ten game, maybe the first Big Ten in college. Outside of week 0. But anyway, yeah, he played a lot in that game, and just you would never know he's a young guy. He played really well when their quarterback was out, and he's just done a great job this year. Obviously, he's a big, tall guy. He's mobile. He can throw it on the run, and he will run. They've got designed runs for him, and not overusing him that way, but you have to be respectful of that. And we had problems with that this past Saturday, so you got to be respectful of that and honor that. And but again, if he gets flushed out of the pocket, he's got a good ability to keep his eyes down the field, and make a play while he's scrambling.
How about the two running backs, Katron Allen, Nicholas Singleton? They're both averaging 4 to 5 yards a carry, so they're both dangerous.
Yeah, they're really they're young guys. They're bigger and stronger than they were a year ago, and so they've got quickness, they've got strength, and they've also got the speed to bounce it outside. And it's hardly a surprise that Penn State's got a good running back. Imagine that, but it seems like they've always got a good 1-2 punch, and that's certainly the case with both these players. They're pretty similar, I think, in terms of the skill set, but it's a good skill set, and they've got a big veteran offensive line up there that really does a nice job, and they're pretty multiple with what they do, and they're just, it's kind of like their whole football team. They've got the kind of skill that if you're not really sound, an average gain can become a big gain, and that's a big part of success on defense is eliminating those big games.
You mentioned that O-line, the average 325 to 330 pounds a man. They've got a little guy, his smallest one is a left tackle, 317 and 6'6", but they've got a couple 330s, a couple 325s, and Penn State's linemen have always been able to run. They're all so athletic.
They pull them a lot, and I am going to contest I think they need to reweigh the left tackle. He was one of the 3-player reps in Indianapolis this year, and I got a chance to get up close and personal, if you will. And
he looked a little bigger than 317.
That might have been his junior in high school. I'm just guessing. He's certainly not 317 right now.
How about their wide receivers? I mean, he's some of the guys that have been around a couple of years have been kind of pushed down the depth chart by younger, I assume, faster guys, maybe more athletic. We'll find out, but 11 different receivers have caught passes here in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say that they've spread the ball around. A lot of guys have had an opportunity to catch balls, make catches. I would say 6 and number 1 are probably the two most targeted guys at this stage right now. It looks like they're the most. You got to respect all of them, but those two guys look to be the quarterback's favorite targets. And I would say the same thing about both tight ends. They're both really good football players. Theo Johnson, guys, he's a guy we tried to recruit and unsuccessfully, but really good young man and a good player from Canada, just across the river from Detroit. And the big guy, 44, is a really good player too, and a real favorite target for that quarterback.
Harrison Wallace III is their primary receiver. He has 10 catches, a little over 100 yards. They've 10 catches, you would think, okay, you should have more than 100 yards. But, they throw a lot of those quick slants. They like to get those guys into space and then run away from a defender. So not much has changed.
Not a lot. And they played a lot of man coverage last week, so they had guys on under routes, crossing routes, things like that, and just trying to get the ball out in front of the defender and giving their guy a chance to make some yards off that. So, they're good at every position, basically. And if they've got some weak spots, we haven't seen it. And, so we're just going to have to really try to play great team defense and again, limit those big plays, the explosive plays.
Speaking of defense, let's talk about Penn State's defense on our Club Car Wash Keys to the Game with Coach Ferentz. They always have great secondary people. You mentioned, and linebackers, Joey Porter, but Jaquan Brisker. I don't know if they have any of that caliber, but they're always good, and they really they picked off Illinois 4 times last week, forced 5 turnovers, so they really break on the ball.
Yeah, they do. They did a great job, and it's just that really, it's hard to win a game with 5 turnovers. So I'll make that bold prediction that anybody goes down that road is going to have a tough time winning. But they're extremely athletic. That's the first description I would give of these guys. They're outside of the guys that play inside. They're 2 defensive tackles. They're all pretty linear looking guys and very quick, very athletic, and very dangerous that way. So. It's kind of like I described the offense. They got a lot of guys that are a threat to make a play, and I'd say the same thing about all their defensive guys. The linebackers are active in the blitz game. Back end is a lot of man coverage, a fair amount of man coverage with those guys, and the guys up front are very, very active, very, very athletic and quick. And so again, you really have to be at your best, otherwise you risk the danger of those guys knifing through there and making a play, being disruptive.
Well, it's Penn State, as Joe Paterno told me once. Within 100 miles of State College are 80 million people. And that's why he was saying, you weren't here a little bit ago. I was talking about how Joe told me once in an interview that he votes for Hayden Fry as Coach of the Year every year because of Iowa's small population, not a big state, but they win. And I said, well, thank you, Coach. I appreciate that.
Yeah, he was a great guy and just a great football coach, obviously. But that's one thing about Penn State. They've got such proximity to the state of Ohio. Michigan, they go into Michigan and recruit very successfully in there. Virginia, they go in the other direction. Then the East Coast, Jersey, New York, and then more recently up in Connecticut. And they pretty much can get in on whatever recruit they choose to get in on. So, and that's something their staff does a really good job of. They're excellent recruiters. But again, you could interview me 25 years ago. I'd probably be telling you most of these same things. It's just, the style's a little bit different than it was, but a lot of recurring themes, and they're just a very traditional, prominent program.
You're a Pittsburgh guy. You grew up in Pennsylvania, ended up going to Connecticut. Are you still upset that Joe Pa didn't recruit you?
I'm just really perplexed by the whole thing. I don't know why they didn't, need a guy who's 6 foot. 200 pounds and could run a 5 flat consistently.
40.
I don't understand that. It is, still it doesn't make sense to me. They must have been trying to win. I think that was what they were doing.
I'm told they went with Jack Ham or Lambert over you.
Some of those guys.
So, that's just the numbers game. That's what it was.
That's what it was.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, all right.
Just needed my chance, that's all.
That's kind of like Rudy.
Yeah.
No, you're better than Rudy. All right. End on a comical note, I hope. That's our Club Car Wash Keys to the Game with Coach Ferentz. For just $20 a month, there's no better time to join the club. Visit clubcarwash.com and find a location nearest you. A little more insight into Penn State as the Hawks head out east and kick off at 6:40 on Saturday night. All right. When we come back, we'll go to your tweets, your Facebook posts. We'll hear from a couple of the players. A couple of the primary players in the game as far as the Hawkeyes are concerned coming up on Saturday night here at View Rooftop from Learfield.
Hi, this is Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz. My players know that success is not a given, but with hard work, there are no limits. For years, Iowa farmers have believed in that too. Farmers are the backbone of this country, and their dedication to bringing us food and energy has never been more important. That's why we're proud to wear the America Needs Farmers logo on our helmets. Join the Hawkeyes and the Iowa Farm Bureau as we celebrate farmers during the A&F game on October 21st. For more information and to win tickets to the game, visit americaneedsfarmers.org.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for one vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
Running a business is a lot of work. Luckily, I've got a great partner.
Oh, I thank you.
I meant U.S. Bank.
I knew that.
U.S. Bank Business Essentials is a huge help to us.
Totally. Their comprehensive point-of-sale system does it all. Tracks inventory, manages schedules, customizes orders.
Plus all the regular banking stuff.
If only it could make coffee.
Nah, that's your job.
From point of sale to quick loans, we have many ways to make your business boom. That's what U.S. Bank is for. U.S. Bank. We'll get there together. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
I'm Ingrid Lizarraga, breast surgeon at the University of Iowa Holden Comprehensive Cancer Center, the state's only NCI-designated cancer center. Here, we look beyond just the type of cancer you have to discover the molecular details of the disease. We have teams dedicated to each cancer type, with treatments and trials you won't find anywhere else in Iowa. Go to uihc.org/cancer.
Big week. It's Big Ten football for the Iowa Hawkeyes starting Saturday night at Penn State. 6:30 for the, actually 6:40 for the kickoff. We'll be on there at 4:30 Saturday afternoon. 2 hours of jam-packed information as we count it down to Iowa, Penn State. 7th-ranked Penn State hosting the 24th or 22nd ranked Hawkeyes. Both are 3-0. Penn State has defeated West Virginia on opening weekend. Then took on Delaware, won easily, and then last week knocked off Illinois 30-13. And here the Hawks have yet to play a Big Ten game. Coach, it's been a little quirky that way this year, but it's only going to get quirkier, as they say.
Yeah, I think TV probably dictates who does what when.
For sure.
You wonder about why they played last week, but nonetheless, it's always exciting to play conference play, and every game counts the same in December. But if you're in a conference, certainly those games are significant and carry a little bit more weight. So, it's an exciting time of the year, and I just assume start Big Ten play a little bit later. So getting 3 non-league games is always a good thing. And we seem to have a thing for playing Penn State early in the year. I don't know. There's been exceptions to the rule, but it seems like we open conference play quite frequently with them, at least over the last 25 years. I can't speak to the ones before that.
The series is almost deadlocked. I mean, historically, it's 17 wins for Penn State, 14 for the Hawkeyes. You're 10-8 against your home state, and 11-11. You've split the last 22, Coach Fry and you. What is there a common denominator in? I know we've had a lot of close games, several overtime games, but historically, Penn State and Iowa has been a heck of a series to watch.
Yeah, and it's 5-4 at home and away too. Take it a step further, and it's a tale of a couple cities on this whole thing. But really, in 16, we never got in the game. And that was one game that was just totally lopsided. The next 3 they won, average of 4 points, and then we beat them by 20 and beat them by 3 the next 2 games. So basically over the time, and that 20 is misleading. So it just it's been a really tough competitive series. we have to play absolutely at our best to have an opportunity to knock them off. And our guys have risen to the occasion. We're going to have to do it again if we're going to have a chance in this thing.
For sure, and that's why we lead off with Jeff on Facebook. Coach, with key offensive injuries at both tight end and running back, how difficult is it to prepare for a game the following Saturday or the next game?
Yeah, you know, rather not get anybody hurt for obvious reasons. Most obvious is just the players involved, and that's sometimes I think we overlook that kind of thing, and it's tough in football, especially because guys wear helmets and you don't get to know them quite. The fans don't get to know the players the way we do. But you think about how hard any Big Ten athlete works just to have the opportunity to compete, and when they can't compete, it's just it's devastating, and it really is hard for them. On a lot of levels, and so that's one story, and then obviously it affects or it impacts the team too. And you think about Luke, who's not only a good football player, but one of our team leaders, has been a captain each and every week, and so you're losing leadership, you're losing a guy who's a really quality player out there, and but it creates opportunity for other guys, and you saw last week Eric All did a great job, Steve Stylianos did a great job, Addison, Mastrenga, young guys. Done well, so those guys will step up and do a good job. And John Pascuzzi stepped in and did some things, and he'll play well this week too, I'm sure. And same story at the running back. Fortunately, Caleb played a nice game, and the two freshmen who have been practicing really well since August, since we got going. So you go with the guys that you got, and I'm pleased with the way the guys are practicing. They've been focused and been doing a good job. So now they got an opportunity to play, and that's how opportunity comes about, and it's just a matter of what you do to respond.
So the surgery on Luke went well and successful, but he's going to miss some significant time.
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while, and it's just it's unfortunate, and probably won't be able to travel this week, but we'll have him with us the rest of the way. And but it's just he'll continue to be a great teammate, and strong leader in the program. But it's just. It's disappointing. Just it's kind of disheartening for the guy involved, and it's just part of the game. We all know that, but it's not much fun.
Caleb and Jazz week to week.
Yeah, I think realistically we'll see what it looks like next week. But right now, they're not going to play Saturday, so we're going with the three guys we mentioned, and then also Max did a good job. It was good to see him get on the scoreboard.
Kamari and Terrell certainly performed well under the lights for their first significant time on the field.
Yeah, these will be different lights this week, but
for sure.
But it's I'm not going to say not surprising, but they just both have practiced. Terrell was here last spring, so he got to go through spring practice. Kamari wasn't. But both of them just, they're football players. Those guys are wired in. You would never know in the practice field that they're first-year guys. Been really focused. They do a really nice job, and they're very coachable. And we're just really excited to work with both of them. They just got a great attitude, and they're both good players on top of it. But it's I really like the way they go about their work.
Very much so. Let's go to Twitter, Coach. Cody wants to know, what's the best way to deal with crowd noise when playing in a hostile road environment?
Yeah, that's interesting. There is no good way, really. I mean, it's just it comes down to focus. You'll see offensive lines go sing silent cadence. The center bobs his head a couple times, all that stuff. You'll see guys where the guard gives the center a go-to sign, and some people hold hands out there. And the theory there is movement means the ball snapped, so the inside guys can trigger the outside guys. But I think as much as anything, the guys that are affected the most are probably tackles, tight ends, and they just have to try to listen and wire in. And it just there's no good way around it other than just really being focused. And you can try all those things, and I think I've been involved in a million different approaches, and including earplugs. I don't know if people are still doing that. We were doing that in the 90s. And quite frankly, the worst environments to be in if you're an offensive lineman are domes. They're just flat out.
Really?
Yeah, they're terrible. That's really hard. Kansas City was a really hard place to play. But yeah, the domes are just, really tough. So the old Metrodome, I'm going back a few years.
Ringing in your ears.
Yeah, it's really hard to hear. And that is a factor. Wind and noise are factors in football.
I had several questions about the environment this Saturday, so hopefully that answers everybody's concerns. Eric on Twitter, Coach, what's the most memorable play for you against Penn State in Happy Valley? For me, it's the block punt by Claiborne. Well, that one would rank in the top 5 anyway.
Yeah, it might be that might be an easy number one. That was
whiteout night too.
Yeah, it was a whiteout night, and the other memorable play, I always go to the negative, right, was the bomb they hit down the sideline for about 80.
Was that
right in the beginning of the game?
The first play of the game.
Play action pass.
Scrimmage.
You know, when you get in an environment like this, the last thing you want to do is not start well. And you couldn't start any worse. And that place already was going crazy, and it went crazier. So, you know, you live and learn. And the key thing is we played through it. And Adrian's effort was, you know, sometimes not only great players, but sometimes players just make plays that are, you know, you can't really explain them maybe, or you didn't see it coming, and boom, it happens. And the impact that had on our entire football team that night, it just changed the tenor of everything. And, you know, it's no surprise it was a guy like Adrian who did it. You know, he was such a good player and just such a quality guy, and still is. But, I mean, you know, I don't know, he's not the same player he was in 09, but, you know, a play like that, and then after that just, you know, things turned our way. But it was tough sledding up until then. And, yeah, so that might be an easy starting point, that's for sure.
Well, I'll tell you what would be number two, or maybe even number one in my book, and you and I have talked about this forever. I think the program flipped way ahead of where everybody thought it would when you came to town in 1999 on the Ryan Hansen, as I remember, interception from safety Ryan. Was that year 2 or year 3? I can't remember.
It was 2000.
Year 2.
2000 up there, overtime,
Yep.
and
Hawks finished 3-9 that year, but you beat Penn State in double overtime, and then came home and knocked off Northwestern the following week, who was a favorite to go to the Rose Bowl. They had Darnell Autry. They had a great team, and from there you took off.
They ended up being co-champs, so that was a huge victory. And he was on like somebody's list of sexiest men in America. I don't know whose list it was, but you know, and
that was a pretty sexy play.
I'm not big into that stuff, but anyway, it was just, he looked pretty good to me on that play for sure.
He sure did.
As a football player, I don't know about the other stuff.
A lot of people want to talk about the 6-4 win out there. We mentioned that a little bit earlier, but, you know, I think it was Jason Baker or David, who's the other punter we had after?
Dave Bradley.
Yeah, David Bradley. Was it Bradley or Jason? I can't remember.
Yeah, Jason was 2000. He was a huge part of that win. You know, the field position it went our way all day. He just punted
David Bradley, just to have the wherewithal to catch the ball and step back out of the end zone.
Yep.
You know, two more points doesn't beat you, but he had a great day punting the football that day.
He did, yeah, and it's you know, when you win a game like that, that's typically part of it. Field position plays into it, and you know, yeah. So he did a really good job, and that was pretty memorable moment. We took the safety, and then They threw it to us, either the next player or the play after. Threw a pick. I think it was Constantine, I think, got it. But that really was a game. It was, you know, a risk we took, but we were feeling pretty confident about our defense.
Flip the coin right. Great memories of just some of the great memories of the Iowa-Penn State game. Let's take one more, Coach, before we break here. Diane, good evening, Coach. Do you like the new uniforms the Hawks will be wearing Saturday? Who decides or designs the uniforms when they get switched up, and do the players get to vote, go Hawks, good luck Saturday?
Yeah, you know, it's just, that's not really my strength, and to say the least. I mean, that's a huge understatement. So, you know, we have some guys in our building that are a little bit more into that stuff, and you know, they convince me it's something we should do or could do, or, you know, maybe want to consider doing. So basically the process works where we just take that to our leadership council, our player council, and kind of let them talk about it and get feedback from them. And then when this is what we came up with. So yeah, I think the guys are excited about it, and that's really all I care about. As long as we don't look like a bunch of clowns, which I don't think we do in this case. So, you know, I think our guys will look good, and they're excited about it. So I'm all for it.
Iowa's uniforms have always been very plain Jane in a good way, kind of like Penn State's, you know, simple, traditional, historically, you know who we are.
Yeah, I just don't think you have to mess with good, but I also understand this is 2023 or whatever it is, and you know, so if this is a good thing, it's a good thing. Let's go for it.
Good deal. Play a great football game, hopefully. All right, time out here on Hawk Talk with Kirk Ferentz. We're at View Rooftop in the Hilton Garden Inn. We're sponsored by U.S. Cellular. As a proud sponsor, U.S. Cellular is built for the Hawkeyes. They're built for great interceptions and better reception. watching touchdowns instead of touch screens, and waving before streaming. After all, game day only comes once a week. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Hawkeye football is also sponsored by our friends at Authentic Brand. All season long, our broadcast team exudes style. Speaking of nice uniforms, with Authentic Brand attire. It's the brand we trust for premium game day looks and everyday styles, whether you're in search of top-notch company-branded merchandise or apparel that proudly showcases your Hawkeye pride. Ask your supplier or local retailer for Authentic Brand by name. And we're back to View Rooftop right after this on Hawk Talk with Coach Ferentz from Learfield.
When it comes to your health, you need the full picture. That means the right diagnosis and the right treatment right from the start. I'm Aaron Bowes, pediatric neurologist with University of Iowa Healthcare. Here, we're working together every day to advance medicine so you can get the best care. With more research, more clinical trials, and more treatment options than anywhere else in the state, the University of Iowa Healthcare is changing medicine and changing lives. Learn more at uihc.org.
Contractors, you're busier than ever this fall, but you've got this with high-quality building materials from Spahn & Rose, like GAF. Use the Spahn & Rose Visualizer to plan the perfect roof and blend an elegant architectural look with exceptional performance. GAF, we protect what matters the most. With several Spahn & Rose locations nearby, you can focus on life's other important things this fall. Spahn & Rose, buy easier, build better.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
At U.S. Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing Us Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to Us Mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
Can you think of anything that costs the same today as it did 10 years ago? There isn't much. That is, unless you're a Mid-American Energy customer. Thanks to all the renewable energy we're generating, our customers pay nearly the same rate for electricity today as they did back when we were all singing, "Call Me Maybe." And with Mid-American making even more investments in clean energy, you can count on enjoying those same affordable rates for the next decade. Now that's obsessively, relentlessly at your service.
To anyone passing through our state, fields and fields of corn might be what they see. But the people who call Iowa home know it's so much more. Corn is ethanol, a homegrown, renewable fuel. Corn is delicious pork, beef, poultry, and dairy. Corn is in 4,000 products we rely on every day. So yeah, our highway views are full of corn, and we're proud of it. Because corn grows Iowa. Show your support for Iowa corn farmers at iowacorn.org/corn grows Iowa.
Hawk Talk live from View Rooftop each and every Wednesday night. Why not make plans to come on out next Wednesday evening at 6:30 as we relive the Penn State game and look ahead to another night game with the Michigan State Spartans coming into Kinnick Stadium. If you hadn't heard it today, Coach Caitlin Clark was named winner of the 93rd AAU James E. Sullivan Award. How about a hand for Caitlin? Is there a trophy she hasn't won?
How about that? Well, so well-deserved.
Yeah, so well-deserved. She was named the winner. Spencer Lee, is the only other Hawkeye. I immediately went to the history books. You're kidding me? Niall Kinnick did not win the Sullivan Award, but actually it was a rower from Penn.
No kidding.
Yeah, the Quakers. So I'm sure he was a good rower. But that said, Kinnick won everything else that year, at least where football was concerned. And Caitlin, the consensus National Player of the Year. Spencer Lee, of course, we all know about Spencer and his exploits as one of the great wrestlers in the history of Iowa football. Sean Johnson who was an Iowan.
Yep.
Sean won it when she was eligible. So congratulations to Caitlin. And we've got the crossover at Kinnick fast approaching.
Pretty good company to be in.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
If the Sullivan Award, which is the epitome of what amateur athletics, and I know NIL and transfer portal, and we're in a day of pay for play. I get that, but it's nice that they still award the Sullivan Trophy to mostly collegiate or Olympic athletes. So appropriate.
Yeah, we've had such a run here, but you just mentioned two people, Spencer Lee, and to watch him perform. Are you kidding me? It's just unbelievable. And then here comes Caitlin Clark, who's just and I'm not a basketball expert by any stretch, but boy, man, is she good.
She's fun to watch.
Pretty obvious, and just in all aspects of her game, not just her shooting, which is unbelievable.
She continually works at every aspect of her game each and every day in the practice gym. 1,000 jump shots a day and probably that many passes to her teammates. And season's coming in a hurry for basketball. The crossover at Kinnick is coming up in mid-October as the Hawkeyes women host DePaul. And they're still selling tickets. They keep moving they keep moving the floor closer to the center of the Kinnick Stadium turf because of the increased ticket sales. Of course, every dollar minus expenses goes to support Stead Family Children's Hospital, which is a great story in and of itself.
I got to admit, I didn't know that, but that's fantastic. I think it's really great. I knew there was going to be a game.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize it was a benefit as well, so it's a double win.
Yeah, congratulations to Lisa and Caitlin and the Hawkeyes as they prepare for a new season. All right, Coach, back to our questions. Our winner tonight, meaning Jamie, wins a nice gift box of Authentic Brand merchandise, Authentic Brand merch pack, for asking the following question. Dressing up for game day, by the way, is now a breeze, all thanks to Authentic Brand. Get ready for game day by visiting authentic-brand.com/Iowa. Jamie says, Coach, I always enjoy watching Quinn Schulte play at safety. What things determine the difference between offering a player a full ride scholarship or an invitation to join the team as a walk-on? In many cases, it's a thin line.
It's such a fine line. It's just recruiting is so subjective, and the NFL goes through the same thing with the draft. They have a lot more information than we do, but you just try to do your best to evaluate not only what the player looks like as a football player, but his athletic background, multi-sports, captain, all those kinds of things, and gather as much information as you can. And it's become more of a challenge, I would say, over the last 5 years because everything seems to be shifting. If I try to make it make sense, I can't, because it doesn't make sense the way we do things, and anybody that thought logically would come down, and if they didn't know anything about what we do, study us, and they'd say you guys are total idiots just about the way you go about it. But mainly, there was a time where we would visit with the players, the prospects. We would visit with their families in their home environment, and then you go about the process of making decisions. Now we do all that without being able to visit with them outside of when they come to campus on unofficial trips. So everything's kind of upside down. But all that being said, we're all working under the same logical system, so you just try to do your best to do your homework. And all that being said, you're never right 100%. And, one thing I think, once our guys, I think all of our players that come here understand, we don't just let anybody walk in the building and try out. So they're all here because they've been selected. And then once they're in the building, everybody's got equal chance. Everybody's got equal opportunity to get coached the same way. Everything's the same for everybody, and it's just what you do on merit. And we've had a lot of guys, as all of us know, that have just risen and distinguished themselves, and had great careers here. And if you go back and look at any of our teams historically, at least the last 25 years, that were really did something significant on the field, you're going to see 3, 4, 5, 6 guys that really had a big impact that came here without a scholarship and ended up being really impactful players in our program.
And free safety has been one position that probably has had its more than its fair share of young men who started out walk-ons. We're just making some notes here in between breaks here. Jack Kerner, Jake Gervais, Quinn Schulte, already mentioned, Sean Considine, Derek Pagel, Brett Greenwood.
Yep.
I mean, that's just the ones we were able to come up with in the last 60 seconds, you know there's more.
Yeah, if you cover the last 25 years, I would be willing to say at least 80% of the snaps have been guys that came here as walk-ons, and I always tease Phil about that. Like, you can't play free safety unless you're a walk-on here. Like, that's one of our qualifications. I didn't realize that was in our policy book, but and then he always acts like he doesn't like those guys for at least a year, sometimes 2 years, like he doesn't know who they are and all that stuff. It's a game he plays. You have to know Phil to appreciate that. You kind of know what I'm talking about.
I do know exactly what you're talking about.
And you can tell he's watching them like a hawk, so it's just kind of, it's a game he plays. It makes him feel better.
Yeah, he doesn't let anything get by him, walk on or otherwise. Speaking of outstanding defensive backs, I was proud of the way Jamari Harris rallied last week. People don't hit many big plays over the top of the Iowa defense. They did in that first quarter, and I pointed out Jamari, it'd been over a year since he had played competitive football, and he would tell you that's no excuse, but he came back, had a good game on balance.
Yeah, it just, again, I'm not trying, it's not a lecture series, but it's just sometimes I think folks don't realize, or a lot of people don't realize, just how tough it is to miss time. When you miss significant time, it does make a difference, and that's the value of playing. That's the value of experience, and we have several guys in that category. Just cherry pick Jamari, fresh off. I think he hadn't played in 13 months or something like that. So it is different, and it's different than practice. And Cade McNamara's gone through the same thing. He didn't play last year. So, now he's working his way back in, and he's combating coming off an injury here as well. So all those little things are really important, and they give me great optimism because I know, especially in Cade's case and Jamari, once they get in a groove a little bit, it's going to be all good because we've all seen them play very, very well. And, those guys will bounce back faster because they're experienced players as opposed to being younger guys who haven't played yet.
Jamari, the young man from Chicago, the senior, has some thoughts on Penn State's offense.
They have done a great job protecting the ball. I've been there +7 in the turnover ratio. They have great running backs. They have athletes all over the field. Big physical O-line, big physical quarterback who has a strong arm, big playability. We're looking forward to the challenge.
He's a guy who always looks forward to the challenge, and he's kind of the leader in that back end, isn't he, Kirk?
It really is. He was, talking about recruiting, and he was really under-recruited in our mind. And the more we got to know him, and he came several times to campus. And I remember one time they came, his mom had got a root canal that morning, so she was not enjoying the visit. She wasn't enjoying anything at that point, but her dad brought the three of them came to campus, and just to watch his growth over the last couple of years, it's really been fun to watch. And he's grown into a veteran player, a veteran leader, so highly respected. And he just nailed it on the description. And that's something I didn't mention. The turnover takeaway margin I mentioned Saturday, but Penn State has not turned it over yet. They haven't fumbled or had a pick, so lost a fumble. They've had 2 loose balls, I believe. So they've been really good protecting the football.
Clean football, indeed. Got to work in one more break here. Our wonderful sponsors, including View Rooftop here at the Hilton Garden Inn. You can catch the post-game show coming up on Saturday night. Hudson's Southside Tap, your Hawkeye Game Day headquarters. Savor $6 house Bloody Marys and catch the Hawkeye Radio Network post-game show right after home games. But stop down on visiting trips as well. Feel the Hawkeye spirit at Hudson's on Highway 1 West in Iowa City. Go Hawkeyes from Hudson's. And we're sponsored by Iowa Corn and the Iowa Corn Cyhawk Series, promoting honest, hard-working values that are uniquely Iowan. Iowa's corn farmers salute all athletes for their hard work and determination to be the best both on and off the field. Just like top athletes, Iowa's farmers lead the nation in corn and ethanol production. Follow Iowa Corn on Facebook and learn how corn grows Iowa. The exciting moments, the proud moments, even the hard moments. That's Walmart Blue Cross Blue Shield is here for it all as your health care champion, making health care more affordable with more choices for care and peace of mind no matter what comes your way. Find the right plan and the plan right for you at Walmart.com/touchdown. Walmart, proud supporter of Hawkeye football. Back to View Rooftop with Kirk Ferentz in just a minute from Learfield.
At US Cellular, we believe in having healthy relationships with our phones, so we can have better relationships with each other. Introducing US Mode, a way to set your phone for less distraction and deeper connection. So dinner can sound less like this and more like this.
What'd you learn today? The sauropod was the tallest dinosaur ever.
Oh my goodness. Visit U.S. Cellular in-store or online, and we'll help set your phone to us mode, even if you're not a customer. U.S. Cellular, the 5G network built for us. See uscellular.com for details.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Order Bud Light online today. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Whether you're building a backyard fence for your family's new best friend or firing up the excavator for your next commercial project, a free and simple call can save you from expensive fines and even save your life. Call 811 at least 2 days before you start your next project to have underground utility lines located and marked. At Mid-American Energy, your safety is our #1 priority. So, make it your priority to call 811 before you dig. Paid for by the customers of Mid-American Energy.
Bump's Restaurant in the Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse is the place to go before Hawkeye football games. For just $35 per person, you can have an all-you-can-eat buffet that includes barbecue, upscale tailgate favorites, a carving station, and all the fixins in the friendly comfort of the modern clubhouse. A full bar, Bloody Marys, mimosas, and over 35 beers are available. Reservations made on Friday before 11 a.m. include free game day parking for 1 vehicle. Kinnick Stadium is a leisurely walk down Melrose Avenue, so make game day easy by parking and eating at Bump's. For reservations, call 319-335-9662.
Let's be honest, we all like to be noticed. Picture yourself striding into Kinnick Stadium, radiating both style and comfort, while fellow Hawkeye fans can't help but ask, where'd you get that shirt? With pride, you point to the big screen and reply, it's Authentic Brand. Discover the remarkable difference that apparel with the Authentic Brand label brings. Ask for it by name at your favorite boutique, spirit shop, or retailer, or shop online at authentic-brand.com. It's time for a change in your style. It's time for Authentic Brand.
Hawk Talk winding down here for another Wednesday night. Iowa at Penn State, the Hawks and the Nittany Lions. Saturday night, 6:40 for kickoff. Join us at 4:30 here on the Hawkeye Radio Network for our pregame coverage. Till then, we're at View Rooftop here on the 12th floor of the Hilton Garden Inn, and they'd love to host you for Hawkeye Game Day. Tailgate specials at the View Rooftop, providing a high-energy, memorable experience with food, music, and fantastic views of the Iowa City skyline. And, of course, the game on many other flat screens. To call and set up reservations at View, please call 319-519-4650. 319-519-4650. Jay Higgins has had a terrific season, a start to his season at linebacker. He talked about playing at Penn State in primetime.
I feel like it's a great opportunity just to show how hard we worked. We've been working. Football is really there's no real off season. We're always playing football in spring and fall. So I feel like it's just another opportunity for us to go out there and play as a team and show what we can do and just the sacrifices we've been making. Our #1 slogan this year has been challenge over threat, and defensively we see it as that. Just want to go in there, make sure we play the best football we can, and stay together and communicate.
Yeah, not to play too many defensive cuts here from our outstanding defenders. Steve Stylianos, who has been emerging all along. He's going to be prominent on Saturday night, especially with Luke Lachey out of the lineup. Stylianos and Luke have a great relationship.
Well, first off, Luke's my brother. He's probably my best friend here. He's my roommate. He's going to be a groomsman in my wedding, so obviously tough to see him go down like that. So that was my first thought, just trying to figure out what happened to him, how serious it was. So that was just tough to see, and just trying to have his back through all that. But obviously that opens the door for me, and just next man up. You always have to be ready to go, and you're always like a sprained ankle, or in this case even worse. Away from being ready, just being thrown in there. So you always have to prepare like you're going to be that guy playing. So I feel like I kind of approach every week like that. So I'm ready to go. 23 years old, played quite a bit of football in my days. So, I'm ready to roll.
I love that line. 23 years old, I played plenty of football, and he certainly has. Coach, your tight end room is in good shape.
I think so. They've really done a good job, and they've worked hard. And collectively, it's a really good group. And Abdul's done a great job with them too. He's been a great addition to our staff. So, and those guys work together along with Hayden is also
Hayden
back
Large.
in there. Hayden Large, and then Rusty Van Witzka. So you got the fullbacks, and we let them in the tight end room also. So it's all good. That's a good group of guys, and they're willing to go.
Yeah, they're as big as tight ends. They should be allowed to at least take a peek in there at the planning. Michigan State is at home here in Iowa City. When the Hawkeyes return home next week, you can score big on game day at Bumps Restaurant at Finkbine Golf Course Clubhouse for just $35. Enjoy an all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet, upscale tailgate favorites, and more. Sip on Bloody Marys, mimosas, and 35 craft beers. Make your reservation for Friday at 11 a.m. of game week for free game day parking just up the street from Kinnick. Reserve now at 319-335-9662. Bumps at Finkbine. Coach, where does the time go?
I don't know.
Life moves on. We'll see you Saturday out in your home state of Pennsylvania.
Sounds great. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Kirk. That's it for Hawk Talk. I'm Gary Dolphin. Thanks to the folks here at View Rooftop. We'll talk Saturday night. Be back here next Wednesday night. Good night, everybody.
On the Hawkeye Sports Network from Learfield, live from View Rooftop at the Hilton Garden Inn in downtown Iowa City. Hawk Talk has been brought to you by Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Your local Ford dealers, Iowa's corn farmers of the Iowa Corn Growers Association and Iowa Corn Promotion Board. You may think Iowa grows corn, but the truth is corn grows Iowa. U.S. Bank, proud to support Iowa football. U.S. Bank, equal housing lender, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Mid-American Energy. Look up, look out for overhead power lines. Visit midamericanenergy.com for electrical safety tips. By University of Iowa Healthcare. Changing medicine, changing lives. U.S. Cellular, built for the Hawkeyes. Built for silencing notifications and turning up the noise. U.S. Cellular, built for us. Iowa Farm Bureau, who would like to remind you to support America's farmers. Check out AmericaNeedsFarmers.org. And by Authentic Brand, the label you wear makes a difference. Step up your game day looks and everyday style with Authentic Brand. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Hawkeye Sports Network.